The alien invasion we are subjected to is happening and has already happened through our minds and beliefs, the religious, spiritual, and genetic manipulations throughout the ages by hyperdimensional beings and methods we are only scraping to understand and most of us are not even aware of to begin with. It's state-of-the-art mind control. Are perhaps the aliens themselves behind the New World Order and quest for global enslavement? Most people still have a hard time realizing that 9/11 was an inside job, and that Al-Qaeda is as fake as the war on terror. If the population of this world can be already so easily deceived by such obvious means, how will they ever look through a manipulation and deception by beings they are not even aware of and whom they even might welcome as their space brothers in the near future? Interesting times indeed. In the words of Elton Turner, husband of Dr. Carla Turner. I believe that our very thoughts and consequently our behavior as a race of sentient beings are being undermined through the power of insinuation and the implantation of controlling devices in our bodies by non-human, most of the time, entities. This is truly the most effective way to invade and conquer. I do not trust such creatures, no matter what I've been told about their altruistic motives. We, as a race, have never been free to discover our own true identity. Every social advance we attempt is thwarted by some maniac who springs up with almost divine grace to lead us into madness. Every major religion has managed to find an excuse in its teachings to destroy non-believing fellow human beings. A part of me shudders every time I hear of yet another killing based on 2,000-year-old hatreds. What law allows us to continue with such atrocities? What influence keeps such hatred and fears alive? Why are we abductees so afraid to ask for help from our own society? We have been invaded, but I do not yet believe that the battle is over. Invasion with sticks, knives or guns is a human reality, not necessarily a universal one. There are very sophisticated mechanisms being used in the invasion of our world. Why should our invaders use pointed sticks against us when they can get us to sharpen sticks and use them against each other? Can there be a more successful military campaign than one in which no shot is fired and in which the conquered populace gladly and openly welcomes their enslavers? We are being programmed mentally and socially to accept our invaders as saviors, not a conquering force. The researcher asked me if I personally knew of harm that has come to anyone at the hands of or because of the aliens. Yes, harm has come. My early youth was damaged severely by the unconscious knowledge that I was being used by some non-human agency. It took me 40 years to recognize that the fears which guided me daily were not of my own making, and that the rebellion I constantly felt was engendered by my contempt for the powerful invisible agents that forced me to do things that I knew were wrong even as I was doing them. For example, I did not want to marry the person who became my first wife, yet I had no control over the decision. Before we were married, we were jointly abducted and subjected to severe programming. The results brought no happiness to either of us. We both starved for love and companionship, even though we tried with all our might to find them. My son was also one of their subjects and is miserable and lost. He's an artistic person with so many unknowable fears that he's paralyzed. I know of abductees murdered by mutilations, reports of which are suppressed immediately and completely, by cancers that no physician has ever seen before, and by madness that has led to suicide. In my opinion, these acts were not caused by brothers of any sort. I do not believe that all is lost, however. I have felt a guiding hand that helped me to discover happiness and inner peace amid all this chaos and misery. What I have come to understand is that that hand is only there when I take responsibility for my own happiness and do something about whatever is bothering me. It is time that we think hard about ourselves and what we have on this gem of the universe, our home, our planet. There are laws governing the actions of our invaders, rules guiding their actions and patterns of behavior we can discover if we will make a concerted effort to discern them. We humans have something valuable that is desirable to and usable by the alien forces acting on us. I feel it is time we take back that which is ours, that we use all our resources to discover the laws that govern reality and become the beings that we intrinsically know we are.
We're in a very unstable period of our history. It's like everything's bouncing around. That is exactly, in my view, the type of environment in which some monumental mistake will occur, in which the secret will come out in some way. I don't know how. I don't know what the trigger will be. It's going to happen. When, I don't know either. I predict within 10 years. Now, when it happens, there's going to be attempts, you know this, to control the spin. Okay? It's going to happen. And so it's going to be our job, the job of any responsible researcher, and your job, to ensure that that does not happen. We've got to make sure that the actual truth comes out, even if it's horrible. Even if it's horrible, especially if it's horrible. There's no other way we're going to be able to deal with the reality until we learn the full import of what is going on. But there may be some extraterrestrial or interdimensional or non-human intelligences that may not be working toward our best interest. If we don't acknowledge that at least as a distinct possibility, I think we're fools. We have to, even if their intentions may not be bad. What happens to indigenous cultures when they encounter a highly technically proficient society? We know. And maybe in the long run things get better for them. I don't know. You can decide that for yourself. But the point is that we have to be vigilant against a variety of fronts here. Hope and fear. Fear is an enemy, we know this. Because when we are afraid, we react irrationally to things. We don't think through. Hope is an enemy too, though. That sounds kind of wrong, doesn't it? Everyone likes to have hope. Don't give up hope. But here's the problem with hope. Hope also deludes. We need to have a cold eye. We have to be able to look at reality in as alert and awake a fashion as we can. What is true higher consciousness? Well, it starts with awareness, with seeing things as they are. Not as you want them to be, not as you hope they can be. You have to see them as they are. And it is only through going over that first large hurdle, I feel, that we can really attain a true higher consciousness, a true awareness in which we are awake, not asleep.
No matter what the truth ultimately proves to be, we have to go for it. I mean, without it, we're like children playing with shadows. And we're ignorant, and we're certainly unempowered to deal with and confront whatever the real entities are behind this masquerade. To take it all at face value is foolish. To take none of it at face value is ridiculous. Investigations into this field there cannot be anything more important for us to be doing right now than to dig past our wishes, dig past our fears, and dig for objective reality and understanding.
What is truth and what are lies in the world of UFOs, aliens, abductions, and hyperdimensional realities? We ought to make an effort to find that out. As Carla Turner said, we owe it to ourselves.